Yeah.
stupid. It was insane. They couldn't have made it any worse if they tried.
Well, they did, because they then paused ticket sales for like an hour and a half, and then What's up, guys? X's on the NFL. I'm Tony. That over there is Stephen, Green Bay Packers fan, Philadelphia Eagles fan. Before we jump into it, we've got some amazing deals to offer you from our friends over at the American Sports Discount Store.co.uk. If you want to get yourself 25% off any jersey and free UK delivery, then just use our code EXLEY2025. EXLEYS. No, EXLEYS 2025. And that'll get you 25% off and free delivery in the UK. So the UK ticket sales went out for the UK NFL games, and the first round of them,
shocking,
mate.
That went so bad.
I know, right?
We both tried to get in it, didn't we?
Yeah. And I can't remember what my number was. I was like,
I think you were like 90,000 odd.
90,000.
It was like 130,000 or something.
They send you an email. You can leave the queue, but if you leave the queue, they email you so you can get back in.
Supposedly.
But they email you, and then you've got 10 minutes to get back into that. So if you don't hear the email, don't see the email.
Well, yeah. Also, I got the email, ended it straight away, and it said it was no longer valid.
I had that exact thing on the first go round. It went live 10, and I waited an hour to get in there. It got to 11 o'clock, and it was nearly 11 o'clock, and it said that you can enter your email to hold your place. So I done that, and when I clicked the link, and when I got the email at 11, I clicked the link, and I couldn't use it. My time had expired already.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to get back onto the website. It wouldn't let me back on because my email was like done. MySpace had gone. You helped me out and sent me a link to get in, like the Ticketmaster website. I got in there. I got placed in a queue. I was in the queue for like 2 minutes. And it come to the end of it at 11 o'clock. They said, come back at 12. Why make everyone queue from 10 till 11 when you couldn't do anything anyway? You had to wait from 11 till 12 anyway.
Yeah, I think it was just the weirdest setup from start to finish.
And by the time you actually get...
The tickets went live
at 12.
250,000 people something trying to get tickets.
Yeah, by the time... Yeah, for 2 games. So by the time we got in, the tickets were £125 each.
That was just what was left by the time we got in.
So
anything
for us,
was gone.
Yeah, for us to go, it would have cost us £250.
Yeah, it wasn't going to happen, unfortunately.
What the fuck? There's got to be an easier way for them to do it.
Ironically, last year's was better. It was a similar thing, but the difference was you could not get on until the tickets went live. There was none of this going on at 10 o'clock, going on at 11 o'clock, and all that crap. Everybody, I think you followed a link to register your interest. Everybody went into like a waiting room for like 10 minutes or something, and then everybody was given a random slot in a queue.
Mine was, they paused it, and I'd waited an hour to get in. It got to like half an hour, and I was 30 minutes. No, I was 15 minutes away from getting in, and then they paused it, because they've noticed something wrong with people in the queue waiting to buy tickets. So they paused it for fucking ages. It was like an hour because it was
it was that long. They tweeted about it in that, didn't they?
Yeah, I think because I thought, wow, that's sound. I'll get into that because I left my phone on while I was working. I was like, sound, I'll get on there at 1 o'clock when I go on lunch. But I went on lunch at 1 o'clock and it was paused. It'd been paused for half an hour by then. And then I come off lunch at 1:30. And it was still paused. I was like, what the fucks? Unfortunately, we didn't get tickets. I didn't even try again the next day.
No, I didn't. I tried on the next slot that went up. But it didn't go as bad as the first slot. But when I got placed in the queue, I was actually further back in the queue than I was for the one before. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to try. Nothing was going to be affordable.
I personally think, and I know there's no way of actually stopping people entering every year. If you get tickets last year, say, you shouldn't be allowed to enter this year, to give everyone in the UK that wants to go and see games a fair shot. Because who's to say that last year and the year before you didn't get tickets, you got tickets them 2 years, and then you're going again this year? the likes of us who have tried. Yeah, I didn't try last year. I tried the year before. We've still not been. It's a bummer, mate. It's a bummer. But yeah, see, that got me real riled up. That's why I put that at the top of the story list. That was a top story. It was annoying.
It was just a shit show from start to finish, though.
Indeed. So the Madden 26 cover has been...
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. It was kind of obvious who it was going to be. It was always going to be Saquon, let's be honest, because the season he had, nobody's had that season.
No.
Not all the accomplishments he had in 1 year.
No. And
on top of all the accomplishments, reverse hurdled a guy in the middle of a game.
That's what I was going to say. Reverse hurdled the guy.
Once that was seen, I mean, even before the season ended, I thought there's a chance that's going on the cover.
Yeah. Did you see how they recreated it?
Yeah, the harness and wires and stuff. Yeah, because he said he wasn't going to recreate it, but then when they said this is how we're going to do it, he said okay.
Oh, fair enough. I think he deserves it, but hopefully the Madden cover curse doesn't hit him and then he's just injured.
Well, if he is, we've still got AJ Dillon, who we've just signed, who, as everybody who actually follows some of the Packer stuff, was pretty good for you guys.
Yeah, he was. He was very good for us.
He had, like 900 yards himself. And we got Will Shipley, who was a rookie, had like a 70-yard game in the playoffs, because they took Saquon and all the starters out. So it's not like we're short of running backs.
It would be better if he didn't get injured.
Yeah, it would obviously be better. I do think it's interesting. He's the first Eagle player since 2000 to cover.
I've seen that. That's crazy.
And he's the only Eagles offensive player to have a 99 rating.
That's mad. That is shocking, considering the caliber of players that are on the Eagles
and have been on the Eagles like throughout the years.
But just one player.
Even Lane Johnson hasn't, and I heard a stat that apparently he's only given up 3 sacks in 8 years.
3 sacks in 8 years, Jesus Christ! There's guys that give up 3 sacks a game.
That's the Super Bowl.
You know what I mean? Yeah, okie dokie.
It's definitely deserved.
Yeah, it's definitely deserved. Lions All-Pro and Pro Bowl center Frank Ragnow announced he is retiring from the NFL after 7 seasons. He's only 29. He has done this at a fucked time. The season's not far from starting, really, and he's retired. If he was going to retire, he could have done it way before the draft.
I get the feeling, though, the way it's happened is like it's more of a... It's not, I've suddenly got injured, I'm retiring. It's like body's starting to say, no, I can't keep doing this. So I get the feeling they might have prepared for it.
Hopefully.
I mean, every team can have a backup center. You can't just have one center. It's ridiculous. You've got to have somebody else who can play. I mean, the Eagles put in their guard Landon Dickerson in the playoffs. So every team's going to have somebody who's a backup.
But everybody's got a backup center.
Yeah. Whether they're any good's the question.
He was the 20th overall of the 2018 draft. He's a 3-time second-team All-Pro and 4-time Pro Bowl. So
I think 20th overall for a center is pretty bloody high.
I was literally just about to say that. That is high for a center, high for anybody, and high for that position in the NFL.
Any lineman, really, I would say that's a pretty high position to be taken.
Yeah, it's normally wide receivers, QBs, cornerbacks, and that's about it. Maybe a tight end. Yeah, the big impact players. Yeah. So we'll have to see how the Lions deal with that and see if they have a replacement or they'll quickly get a replacement to replace him.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, for any team, that's quite a crucial position to have a good guy in. Like, you don't want a backup in there all season long.
You want a full-time center in there with a seasoned one at least, with 1 or 2 seasons under them.
I mean, if they're good enough as a rookie, put them in. But, I mean, for somebody like the Lions, you could, I think, put a rookie in with their line because they've got a pretty good offensive line.
They have. They've got a sensational
way to get away with a rookie for a while, I think. But, yeah, you wouldn't want them there full-time.
No, definitely not. So, all of the drama around Stefan Diggs and the Patriots. Well, yeah, the Patriots aren't going to drop him.
Queen on the NFL.
Pardon?
He's the biggest drama queen in the NFL.
And he gets the video that gets leaked of him with the bag, with the pink substance in it. No one knows what it is. But the Patriots are not going to let him go because he is a big impact player. He is a good player. although he is.
And the thing is, because nobody actually knows what that powder is, it could have been harmless. Do you know what I mean? Exactly what it is, are they? Straight away, it's just going to be speculation. Rumor mill's going to get going, and it's just going to, the press is going to run away with it.
Yeah, 100%.
They're not going to look into what it is. They're just going to see, oh, it's a mystery pink substance. He's on a boat. Is he up to no good? But I did see today he's in the Patriots building. He's there for training camp and stuff. So it's not like he's being a diva and being like, oh, I'm not coming in, rah rah, because he's already signed a 3-year contract. He got with one, he got a long-term contract. I don't think he's looking to cause trouble. I think this one is just purely press got a photo or a video and just ran with it to get the biggest headline to cause controversy.
Yeah, that's all it is, isn't it, really? Whatever. So, rookie receiver that signed on the 14th of May to the Green Bay Packers. They've waived him, injured. Wide receiver Jaden Yonke. Brian Guntenkurst announced the transaction Monday. I don't even know the guy. Like, he's a rookie. Must have been. It was free agency, and he must have injured himself, or they've just waived him before OTAs, or no, during OTAs. So there's nothing about him that I can find, except if you look up for college stuff. But I thought it was worth mentioning for all the Packers fans.
I have noticed though a couple have been waived during OTAs from different teams with injury designations. So I wonder if they're signing players, go for their physical, and then realizing that the injuries have been lied about.
Yeah, it's more than likely. You got to try it. Maybe you think, oh, that injury will be healed before I go to OTAs, and it turns out it's not actually healed. Yeah. Shot yourself in the foot because you lied about it.
Yeah,
when you never know.
I mean, they might go back to college. They might get another team. Who knows?
Maybe this one's all yours.
Yeah, I think this one's quite good. That Eagles' Jeff Stoutland has been selected as the 2025 Paul Dr. Z Zimmerman Award winners by the Professional Football Writers of America. The Dr. Z Award is given for lifetime achievement as an assistant coach in the NFL. I mean, if you're coming up as if you're going to talk about assistant coaches who have really showed their work, who better than Jeff Stoutland? Mm-hmm. How many offensive linemen have come through the Eagles being seen as bottom of the barrel and come out better on the other side?
Nobody.
Kai Becton's a good case. He was literally considered a bust. He was a first-round draft pick, played for I want to say Patriots or someone. They just shipped him out dirt cheap and what have you because he was considered, done. His career was over.
Yeah.
Spent a year with the Eagles, won the starting job, became Super Bowl champion, and has just got an insane payday contract. I think it was like a 3 or 4 year contract with the Chargers.
Doesn't matter who you are, it's who you're playing for, who you're with. Someone might think you're shit, but another team will say shit. Do you know what I mean? We've seen it time again with players on the field. They play dog shit for X, Y, and Z. They go to A and they work. They're perfect.
He came in as a special teams player after I think it was 4 years in New Orleans. Won the starting job, became an All-Pro player. Just got signed to a 3-year deal back with us.
Perfect.
Yeah, sometimes we've said it a lot. Sometimes it's not necessarily the player; it's the situation they're in. They don't get on with the play style. Get them on a new team, new style, they flourish.
Yeah, exactly that.
But I think it's interesting. You don't usually hear about assistant coach awards. Usually the ones you hear about is like coach of the year or something.
Yeah. I've never heard of that award before.
No. So that's why I sort of thought we'd bring it up, because I think it's quite an interesting one. I think it'd be an interesting one to watch going forwards to see who else gets it.
It'd be interesting to find out. We should look into it, see if we can find any more that we know have had it.
I'll have a quick check now. So it's the Doctor. So there's a few. By the looks of it. Yeah, there's a few. So it's been going since at least 2014. So it's 11 years old.
Okay.
I don't recognise many of the names, if I'm completely honest. I mean, one I do last year, you had Bill Callahan and Steve Spagnuolo. Spagnuolo's good defense coach.
Yeah.
So it looks like they can select a couple. Because the year before 23 was Don Martindale, Bob McKintrick, and John Mitchell. The year before that was Leslie Fraser, Greg Knapp.
Okay.
2021 was Rod Marinelli and Bobby Turner. I mean, I don't know, apart from Spagnuolo, I don't know any of them.
No.
But, I mean, it's interesting to see that, I mean, this award's going 11 years and I've never heard of it.
No, it's mad, isn't it?
You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
Interesting one. Have you actually seen any of this about the Dolphins? I haven't seen anything new about it.
No, I don't think anything new has happened with it.
I think the Dolphins have had trade talks with the Steelers about Pro Bowl tight end Jonnu Smith.
No, I've not seen anything else.
Don't know how much playtime he actually had last year. I remember him being called a little bit for the Dolphins. I don't know if he played the whole season or not. So he did play. Last thing. He played all 17 games, but he only started 6. So I think he was pretty good though. I mean, he had 884 receiving yards.
And the Dolphins want to get rid of him. I think they're another team with a lot of dead cap at one.
They're not the top 5. They're sort of, I think they're mid-pack. I mean, we'll talk about that bit in a second, but just looking at his stats for the last few years and that, 88 receptions for 884 yards and 8 touchdowns. That's all
terrible.
That's career highs for him.
Yeah.
He only fumbled the ball twice. There's receivers with more fumbles than that.
The Packers last season were in the top 5 catching drops and fumbles.
Yeah, so for a tight end, that's pretty good numbers, I would say. And his longest was a 57-yarder. So I would say he's probably a pretty good tight end. So I don't know why the Dolphins would want to get rid of him. Unless, as you say, it's a cap issue.
Mate, you went well glitchy then. You froze. The words were still there, but nothing was moving. Like your mouth wasn't moving or anything. So 49ers and Eagles are working on a trade for Bryce Huff for a mid-round pick. The trade cannot and would not be processed until after June the 1st. Huff will be reunited with the 49ers defensive coordinator Robert Saleh, his former head coach with the Jets.
He got fired in the season, didn't he, by the Jets?
Yeah. So he's now the Niners defensive coordinator. The Eagles would pay a fair amount of remaining guaranteed money, but they would also clear $15 million in cap space, likely to be a 3rd or a 4th round pick.
Yeah, so I kind of saw this one coming. I think it was last week that he didn't do bugger all last season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and he did. He was a poor player for us, really. I mean, he was signed to like a 50-odd million 3-year deal. It's like 34 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
So for that kind of money, you'd have expected something. And he was, I don't even think he was average. Let's have a look. Bryce Huff, what's his season like last year? Shit, I imagine. He was a pretty shit player. 12 games played, only 6 started. He had 13 combined tackles, 5 solo, 8 assisted, 2.5 sacks, 1 fumble, 1 forced fumble.
That's mad, isn't it?
Especially when you consider he's a defensive end. So he's supposed to be rushing, he's an edge. He's supposed to be rushing the guys and making tackles and stuff.
And he's not doing his job, so it's a waste of time.
Yeah. Yeah, it was bad. I don't think he wanted to be there from the start, to be honest. I got that impression that he wasn't happy about the setup the Eagles were playing, if you like, and just didn't agree with it. And I think he did what he could, but I don't think it was the right situation for him. At least going back to the Niners, he knows Robert Saleh, so he should have some familiarity and maybe flourish. Who knows?
Nobody knows until it happens. Has it happened? Has the trade gone through?
No, it won't be. It's been announced by the Eagles and the NFL, but it won't be processed until the 1st for cap reasons. Which, speaking of, so I wrote down top 5 and bottom 5 dead cap space.
Okay.
So the top 5 with the most dead cap money. Who do you think's first without looking it up?
Top 5 out of all teams?
Yeah, with the most dead cap money.
Kansas City.
Nope. They're not even in the top 5.
What?
Yeah.
Tell me.
49. Yeah, it makes sense now why they were trading Samuel and Ayuk to try and clear
big time.
81.3 million in dead cap money. You got to cut nearly 20 off before you get to the second place, which is the Seahawks with 67.4.
Yay.
The Jags come in at 3rd with 58.9. Eagles come in 4th with 55.5, and Browns round up the top 5 with 54.5.
That's mad.
You'll be quite happy to know, though, Packers only have 18.3.
Because we're smart with the money.
No, it's because you get rid of anyone over about 29. So with the lowest, the top 5 with the lowest, right? So Who do you think's going to have the least?
The least dead cap space.
I don't feel like you're going to get this one.
Panthers.
No, the Bears. Yeah, that surprised me as well when I found out. 4 million.
How is that even possible?
They haven't really taken any big players, have they, for ages? They've just kind of sucked it with draft picks and, yeah, not really done anything.
Spend some money.
So, second place is tied, Bengals and Steelers. Bengals surprised me.
That surprises me, considering the caliber of players they've got.
Colts come in third with 7.3. Cardinals come in fourth. They only just beat out number 5 with 7.4. 5, which was a bit surprising, was the Falcons with 7.6.
I can see that.
Yeah, but they got Kirk Cousins, so that might be about to change because there's talks of them shipping Kirk Cousins out.
Free up a bit more money on it.
It'll free up a bit of money, but they'll still have dead cap hit from it. So that 7.6 might be about to go to about 20. But that was correct as of, what was that, the 29th of May. So that's, 4 days old?
Yikes.
But yeah, I mean, quite interesting to see who had the most and who had the least.
That's really good. That is a good fact to put on for today. But looking at it, that's it. That's all we've got.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's everything for this week.
I don't know about you, but I'm done.
Yeah, not much has actually happened this week, let's be honest.
It's been a slow week. Although my flag football team did have their first tournament the weekend. And considering it's our first tournament and we've only played one game against another team, our first team we played, I didn't actually play. I kind of coached and gave the guy I gave defensive captain to, who outshone and ended up MVP because he's only played for us for like 4 weeks. He never played before, and the guy is a natural. He's like Hawkeye. I can't remember what I called him the other week, but he's fucking amazing. He ran the defense, asked me if there was anything I'd do different, and I was like, fucking no. You are doing absolutely outstanding. We did get beat, but we are a new team. We're only a year old, and we got beat 50-0. And then we played another team.
Yeah, 50-0. Wasn't that like the top or the second highest team?
Yeah, they play in a really high league. They are fucking outstanding. One of the best teams around.
Exactly. So that ain't too bad realistically for your first tournament game.
And then the second game was, I want to say I can't remember the score exactly. It's like high 20s, early 30s, and we got something like 15 points. And then our last game was against the other local team, and we beat them 22-20, which was really good. I felt like I could play that game, but I didn't want to take someone out to put me in.
Yeah.
Because it would have been...
Not they're gelling well on the day.
And it wouldn't be fair that I've stood around and done not nothing, but just watched them go through the hard games of the disappointment of losing against 2 other teams.
Yeah.
2 hard teams to then take it and me step on and
just be like, right, join this now.
So I let everybody play, and I stood on the sideline, which was hard as fuck because I wanted to play that team for fucking ages. It was really hard for me just to stand there and watch, but the team handled it amazing. They kicked ass. They are superb. And yeah, hopefully we get another tournament soon and I'll be able to play. I won't fuck up my Achilles the weekend before the fucking tournament. As it happens, fuck it. But that's it. That's all I've got. I don't know if you've got anything else.
Well, you've got bragging rights for a little while, maybe a month or so at least, with the baseball. Your team destroyed us.
Yeah, Brewers beat the Phillies.
Well, not just beat them. In the first and second game, you beat us by about 4 runs. But in the middle of the game, you beat us 17-7. You destroyed us.
I need to start watching it more. I just haven't watched it.
Good, because I put it on while I'm doing other stuff, and then you could just sort of pay attention when they're on the field and just sort of zone out a little bit when they're not, or when it's everybody's doing shit.
You need to send me the link again because I'm damn sure I've lost it. But that is it from me.
I'm done.
We will see you next week. And don't forget to go to the American Sports Discount Store uk.co.uk and use code EXLEYS 2025 for 25% off and free shipping to the UK. And it is EXLEY 2025, because I know that CapCut and all of those can never get our name right, so they get the code wrong. We just like fucking idiots, because I always miss that.
We are, but that's beside the point.
We'll see you next week. Peace. No, hang on.